So I'm making dinner, and I thought that I would share it with you because this is a super easy recipe. You can use any kind of protein you like, so well, within reason. I'm using salmon tonight, so I'm using a beautiful fillet of salmon, and so I have chopped that up. It's kind of like room temperature. And what I'm doing is I'm making a beautiful curry. So I don't like hot curries, but I'm going to use some spices, not curry mixes. And so I thought I would share it with you. I'll post the recipe as well. So you'll have to excuse the noise. We've got cooking noise in the background. It smells really good here. I just want to show you how quick and easy and simple keto and low carb food can be. What I've got here, it's all clean, it's all fresh, it's all seasonal. I eat seasonal and fresh these days. So anyway, let's get going. What I've done is I've cooked off an onion. So I've got one sliced onion, and it's about, I don't know, a tablespoon of butter, and I've put in a glug of garlic olive oil as well. You can use any kind of olive oil. And I've just toasted that off. And that's the start of the basis for a curry. So what we're going to do now is put in some minced garlic. Now you've got to be careful with garlic. Actually, we'll do the ginger first. So, I don't know, teaspoon. I cook really intuitively, so I'll put the recipe there so that you can follow the recipe. But I think, what is it? I don't know. I just wrote ginger. In some garlic, in. So far we've got the ginger. It's jumping at me. Garlic, let's turn that down a little bit. Now while that's toasting off, I'm just going to chop up some cherry tomatoes, and the recipe calls for Roma tomatoes, but I'm using cherry tomatoes. So you can mix and match stuff. You don't have to stick to recipes. Just think about the flavors. So, I mean, not everybody's brain works like that, I guess. So we're just going to start chucking our tomatoes in. Don't have to be too fancy with that. I think this one I'll do at my next curry cooking class. Tomorrow we've got European Express, so we're making keto and low carb risotto, cheesecake. I don't know if cheesecake is European, but you know, it's cheesecake. Okay, so at the moment I've just got my tomatoes and some spices in. You can come in. They won't be able to see you. So we've got our tomato base, and what we're going to start doing is cooking off our spices. So, cumin. Now cumin's one of those things you either really love it or you really hate it. I go through masses of it. And we're going to just start to cook off our spices while there's some oil in there. So when there's oil in the pan, you basically need that for the spices. So, and if you need to cook your spices off because you kind of need to render them, if that makes sense. So we're going to go cumin, coriander, cumin and coriander, match made in heaven. That was, I don't know, maybe a half a teaspoon. Some turmeric, whatever you like to call it. Now I love this stuff, so I'm going to use quite a lot. Don't know what the recipe calls for, maybe a half or a teaspoon. Now you don't want this to be dry, so if there's not enough oil, put some more in, because you want to cook off those spices really well. You don't want to burn them. So right now you've got this beautiful flavor profile starting to happen. Yum, it smells so good. Bit of salt. Salt doesn't kill you, by the way. Salt's very good for you. It's absolutely necessary. That's about a half a teaspoon. And actually, we'll put some on the fish. Don't let me forget. Let's see, what else do we need? I love this stuff. This is smoked paprika. You can can get the hot stuff if you want to. You could also put some chili flakes in at this point. I don't love hot curries. It just doesn't agree with me. That's about, I don't know, half a teaspoon. Yeah, let's put a bit more in. Done. I want to build up these flavors, and these flavors all work beautifully together. Make sure you've got enough oil in your pan to cook that down. So by now your spices should be starting to get really fragrant. Does the kitchen smell good, Paul?
Delicious.
Cool. All right, and I'm also going to put in a little bit of, nope, that's cumin. Hold on. This is it's a Flavorista. What's the word? Spice mix. And it's called Smoke It. So it's got a beautiful smoky flavor. Now it's got a touch of heat, so I'm just going to use the tiniest bit of that. I sneeze every time I sniff this. Must be like a fine powder. Okay. Now while I'm on spices and we're just cooking that off, I'm going to reduce that heat a little bit. They've got these on special at Coles at the moment. Now the thing I like about these Mingle is they're clean. So also the Flavorista, which I do have a partnership, and you can get these in my store or you can get them at Coles. These are clean spices, no numbers. And so, for example, this one, I love this. I go through buckets of it. Wish they made a huge one. To give you an idea, this has garlic, onion, paprika, pink salt, bell pepper, so capsicum, marjoram, black pepper, and chili. Kind of what we just used, right? But yeah, that's my cheats version. All right, so we're just cooking that down. Hopefully you can see. Well, there you go. So we're just cooking that, and that's we just need to cook those spices out, because otherwise they're going to be gritty and grainy. If you need to add a bit more, actually let's put some butter in. So I don't know what, I think it was tomato I cut with that. Let's put a bit of butter in. Fat does not make you fat. Fat doesn't make you fat. Sugar makes you fat. Carbohydrates turn into sugar. Yes, I'm obsessed. Okay, right, so that's looking pretty good. Now, so what we're going to do, now that's sort of broken down a little bit, we're going to put in we've got the salt. So I'm just checking I've got notes scribbled on the wall, look. Because normally I just do it intuitively, but when I'm talking to you, I kind of can't do two things at once. So, okay, let me see. What else do I need to do? Oh, okay. So this is coconut cream. So this is a dairy-free recipe. Now the recipe calls for 400 mils, but it's only me. So I'm cooking for myself. So I'm just gonna maybe add, I don't know, a half of that. Oh my goodness. I wish you could smell this kitchen. Now, here's the thing. If you're not keto, just serve this with rice. If you're keto and low carb, you could serve it with a cauliflower rice. You could serve it with zoodles, or I'm just going to stick mine in a bowl and eat it like a crazy. And maybe I'll go back for seconds as well. Okay, so right now we're cooking off our coconut cream. Now, don't buy light anything. What they told you was wrong about light stuff. So this is full fat coconut cream. Quite seriously, like, I'm not the skinniest person in the world, but you guys have seen my journey. I got skinnier eating fat. My skin's healthier, everything. What they told you about fat is wrong. We need fat. Our brain needs fat. Our joints need fat. Our hormones need fat. So don't be scared of it. It's when we have the inflammatory sugars and other stuff, that's what makes you fat, because you lock yourself in like storage mode. Anyway, so that's full fat coconut cream. You can use coconut milk as well, but I like the cream. I just think it gives a much, much better consistency. Seriously, look at that. Anyway, so in here, hold on. This isn't very hygienic. I've got a friend. I did. Okay, hold on, I've got to wash my hands now. Otherwise I'll be eating cat hair. Okay, sorry. 4 gone to homes, 7 left. keeping one leaves 6 left to go to homes. It's actually really happy sad. Anyway, so we're gonna cook this down a little bit. Like a squirrel. Okay, I'm gonna cook that down a little bit, and what we're gonna do, now that's kind of reduced a bit, I'm going to season my fish. Now I'm using salmon, but you can use chicken. You could use like a barbecue chook if you were really time poor. What else could you use? Use any of your proteins. You've just got to cook them a bit longer. The fish is going to be quick. So it's really, really important that you season your protein. Now, I don't tend to use pepper, but if you do, you would use the pepper at this point. And you just want to give that a really good season. You could even drizzle it with a bit of olive oil or something like that. Salt doesn't kill you. Just like salt, just like fat. Just what they told you. Okay, now the other thing, here's the other tip. This is just cubed salmon. I've checked it for bones, I've taken the skin off. If you were doing like chicken, you'd kind of do exactly the same thing, except you'd eat the skin, because you can. And all we're going to do, you can see this is reduced beautifully. We're going to just pop our bits of salmon in. Now, cook your protein, particularly steaks and things and fish, at room temperature. Like it's kind of cool. You know, obviously not when it's 30 degrees Celsius, but that is all in there. I'm going to just give that a little bit of a cover up. Now this is going to happen quite quickly. I'm just going to cover that up with the sauce. There we go, and we'll just let that cook away. Hello, cat. When you get your protein to room temperature, it kind of like relaxes it. Kind of like you know, when you are feeling warm or, you know, not too hot, not too cold, you're like, yeah. So when you cook a protein, it's kind of the same thing. Now, what have I forgotten? Heat the butter, onions, garlic, tomato, cumin, coriander, turmeric or turmeric, however you say it, salt, pepper, cook, add the coconut milk, simmer. So that's cooking. That's actually not going to take very long. So fish is one of those things, it's super easy to overcook. I'm just going to let that, actually you can see it starting now. Can you see here, this fish is starting to change color. And so we've got this beautiful, beautiful curry base. Really important that you taste. Yum. That's good. I think it needs a little bit of salt, but I'll let it do what it needs to do. I think there's a couple of seats at my cooking class tomorrow. It's at Ormo. If you go to Keto Capers, both with K's, as in the letter K, ketocapers.com.au, you can go to cooking classes and you can see all the dates. Like drop the scroll box and it'll bring up all of the dates. And so yeah, tomorrow at 10:30 at Ormo, that's going to be exciting. Just done all the shopping for that. And then I've got like a fake away, so you can learn how to make takeaway that's fake away without all the sugar. Let me just turn my beautiful curry here. Yeah, you can see this fish. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this fish is just starting to change color here. Now, some greens I prepared earlier, a very wilted bunch of broccoli that was in my crisper, and zucchini, you know, like that's kind of like one of my staples. I've just, I put the broccoli in. It's kind of at the point where it's maybe, like it's tender, but I just want to coat it in that sauce, and I know my fish is nearly ready. So I'm going to chuck that in, and then I'll taste it all. Sorry, this isn't Taste-O-Vision. And then we'll go from there. Now remember that your protein is going to keep cooking once you kind of take it off the heat. So with chicken, you're going to need to cook it a bit longer. I like chicken thighs because they're full of fat, of good fats. But the fish is just, you know, a super, super quick, easy dinner. And how yummy does that look? At this point, you could roast up some capsicums, like slice them nice and thinly, like roast them in the oven, put them in. Anything that's seasonal. And the whole thing with, say, keto and low carb, it's not a fad, it's just clean food. And people kind of just don't understand that. It's eating healthy fats. So, because the fats aren't going to kill you. That was flawed science. Did you know that when they were trying to find what caused the heart attacks in people and cardiovascular disease, they did a study with 22 countries? He chose 7. He ignored all the other data, and basically that's where it comes from, that we believe that fat makes us fat. Ugh, it doesn't. Anyway, this is ready. I'm going to take this off the heat after I taste it, and let's have a bit of a squeeze and see if it needs anything. So you can see I've got a beautiful sort of thick curry sauce now. Let's just check my fish. Yeah, that's not too far away. Oh my goodness me. Seriously, look at this. Can you see this? It's just on the cusp. So I'm going to take that off the heat like really soon. Let me taste this. That's really good. Wow, that's full of flavor. Tiny bit of salt. Tiny bit of coconut milk, just to give it that beautiful creaminess. And Emma, your dinner is served. Right, there you go. How long did that take? I don't know, 10 minutes. So that's dinner for one. I'm gonna put that in a big bowl, spill it all down my front, and enjoy. Hold on. Enjoy every bit. Yummo. I don't even bother with, I probably would do some cauliflower rice if there was anybody here with me, but there's not, and I'm gonna eat all of this by myself. Dinner is served. Anyway, if you want the details of any of the cooking classes, or my course actually starts tomorrow night. It's a 6-week course where I teach people about how to never have another diet, what to eat, how we got here, how to make it so you don't need meal plans. Basically, it's freedom. Freedom in 6 weeks. What's not to love about that? Anyway, I'm off for dinner. Have a wonderful evening, day, night, whatever, wherever you're watching in from, and make sure you smile at somebody today, because smiles are contagious. See ya.